Good morning and welcome to Sundays at 9. My name is Heidi and I'm really looking forward today to sharing with you.
Heidi, I'm so sorry I am late, but I'm here now. I've got my basket because I'm guessing you've invited me to come along to the churchyard today because it's time for the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, no, Chloe, you're being a little bit over enthusiastic here. It's not time for the Easter egg hunt just yet. That's in a couple of weeks' time. There's actually quite a lot of very important things we need to think about before we actually get to Easter Day.
Oh, look, to be honest, all the stuff about all the bits of the Easter story, I don't really understand them. I never have. I don't know what half the names mean. To be honest, all I want to do is get to Easter Sunday and some Easter eggs.
Yeah, I can understand the excitement about the chocolate for sure. But actually, it just so happens that I've actually got a new app on my iPad that could actually help you to understand a little bit more about those sort of extra bits that we do around Easter as well. It's called the Easter Decoder.
Ooh, is that like the Da Vinci coder?
Yes, but about Easter.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Yes. Would you like to have a look?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Fantastic. So the way it works is that you just say the word that you don't understand, and then it will then give you information about understanding it.
Oh, so there's a word I don't understand, I say it, and then the app will decode it for me.
That's exactly what happens, yes, yeah.
Oh, cool, let's try it out.
Go on then. Right, where would you like to start?
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday is not about the palms of our hands. Instead, it's about the palm leaves that people waved as Jesus rode on the back of a donkey triumphantly into Jerusalem. People welcomed him as the Messiah, but only a week later, they would be asking for his death.
Last Supper. Communion. Eucharist. The Last Supper isn't actually the cosy meal for two that it sounds like. It's the name of the meal that Jesus shared with his friends for the Passover, which is a Jewish festival. And it was at that meal that he said that when we eat bread and drink wine together, we are to remember him. And nowadays we call that special eating of bread and drinking wine together communion, or in some places we call it the Eucharist.
And the word Eucharist simply means thanksgiving. Cheers!
Garden of Gethsemane.
The Garden of Gethsemane was just that, a garden called Gethsemane. It was at the bottom of the Mount of Olives, and we don't necessarily know that much about it. It may well have been a place where people would go to meet with their friends, to spend a bit of time alone, to pray, or perhaps groups of children would have gone there to play together. And it may have even been full of beautiful flowers, just like the churchyard.
Crucifixion.
The word crucifixion in Latin literally just means fixed to a cross. And it was the Romans' preferred method of execution because it was painful and also very efficient.
The Passion. The word passion is used to describe the suffering that Jesus experienced on the cross. It comes from a Hebrew word meaning Passover, and it's where we also get the word Paschal, which is used to describe Easter, and the French word Pâques, which is their word for Easter.
So it's good to learn a little bit more about some of the events that are part of the Easter story, particularly the events that lead up in the week before Easter, between Palm Sunday and actually Easter Sunday, which we quite often we refer to that as Holy Week. There's an awful lot more that happened during that week though, and we're going to watch a little short film now about some of those events, and it's based on Luke chapters 19 to 23.
So we're walking through the Gospel of Luke, and we've reached the end of Jesus' long road trip to Jerusalem. He's arrived.
So he rides a donkey down the Mount of Olives towards the city, and all these crowds are forming, and people are singing, "Praise the King who comes in the name of the Lord." They're laying down their cloaks in front of him.
Why all this royal treatment?
Okay, so Israel's ancient prophets promised that one day God himself would arrive and rescue his people and rule the world. Other times the prophet spoke about a coming king who would ride into Jerusalem to bring justice and peace.
So Jesus is activating all these hopes that he's that king, and everyone's ecstatic.
Well, not everybody. The religious leaders, they think Jesus is a threat to their power, and so they're not happy. But even more striking, Jesus himself is distraught. He's actually weeping as he rides.
Yeah, why?
Well, Jesus can see what is coming. He knows that he won't be accepted as Israel's king, and he knows that Israel will keep going down a destructive path, neglecting the poor, stirring up rebellion against their Roman oppressors, and he knows that it will lead to death. It breaks his heart.
And it riles him up. The first thing he does in Jerusalem is march into the temple courts, and he drives out the money changers, disrupting the entire sacrificial system.
Yeah, he's staging a prophetic protest, and he stands in the center of the courtyard, shouting out words from Israel's ancient prophets. This is supposed to be a place of worship, but you've made it a den of rebels.
A den of rebels?
Yeah, he's quoting from the prophet Jeremiah, who stood in this same spot, the center of Israel's religious and political power. And he offered the same critique of Israel's leaders, that they're rebellious and corrupt.
And they get the message and start to plan to have him killed.
Which is no surprise to Jesus. In fact, he planned that all of this would happen during Passover.
This is the Holy Week when Jewish people celebrate their ancient story of how God liberated them from slavery and invited them into a covenant relationship.
And so Jesus uses the symbols of Passover to reveal the meaning of his coming death. The broken bread was his broken body, and the wine was his blood that would establish a new covenant relationship between God and Israel. Jesus was going to die for his people and open up a new way forward.
After the meal, Jesus takes his disciples to a garden to pray.
And he struggles with the very human desire to save his life instead of sacrificing it, but he overcomes this temptation.
And it's here where the religious leaders, with the temple guards, find him and arrest him.
Now, Jerusalem was being ruled by the Roman Empire, and so the temple leaders couldn't execute Jesus without permission from their Roman governor, a man named Pontius Pilate. And so they make up this charge that Jesus is a rebel king stirring up revolution against the Roman emperor.
Pilate asks Jesus, "Are you the king of the Jews?"
And Jesus answers, "You say so."
So Pilate can see that Jesus is an innocent man and he doesn't deserve death.
But the leaders keep insisting that he is dangerous, so they negotiate a compromise. Pilate will release an actual rebel against Rome, a man named Barabbas, instead of Jesus. And so the innocent is handed over in the place of the guilty.
Jesus is taken away with two other accused criminals and nailed to a Roman execution device. And people are mocking him. Hey, if you're the Messianic king, save yourself and us.
But Jesus loved his enemies to the very end, offering hope to one of the criminals dying beside him. And he even prayed for his executors. "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing."
And then the sky darkened as an innocent man died the death of a rebel.
And then Jesus cried out with ancient words from Israel's Psalms, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." And then Jesus died, innocent and alone.
So, Chloe, do you think you've learned a little bit more then through the app about Easter?
Yes, I never knew what all those words meant, and actually I can understand the story so much better now.
That's really good. Well, I'm really glad you've learned something. And the really good news is, and you'll be very, very happy to hear this, that actually on Easter Sunday we are in fact going to have an actual Easter egg hunt around the churchyard after the service. So it'll probably start about 11:30. So you've got to make sure you've got your best running shoes on for that.
Yippee, I can't wait. I literally can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
Brilliant. We'll see you there then. Okay.
See you there.
Bye.